This is Matt Donnelly at TheWrap Sundance interview studio here with the filmmakers of Nothing Left Unsaid. We have director Liz Garbus and Anderson Cooper. Thank you so much for coming.
Your pleasure.
First, Anderson, I'm curious, when you had your talk show, I remember one of the biggest moments out of that when it first premiered was when you had your mother on and you talked about the loss of your brother, and I just remember that being a huge story and so emotional. Did that sort of get the ball rolling on this curiosity?
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of definitely part of it. And, you know, obviously my mom and I had, you know, when my brother killed himself, you know, my mom and I had a lot of discussions about it and have ever since. Obviously, it's something that never goes away. But, and it did begin this conversation, the making of this film. We continued, actually, we wrote a book together, my mom and I, kind of continuing this conversation that's called The Rainbow Comes and Goes. That'll be out at the same time as the documentary. And the whole idea is just kind of almost encourage other people to have this conversation with their parents, because it's, you know, suddenly you wake up and it's too late, and you know, you're left with all these questions, and you don't really know, you never really knew who this person was.
Right. So in terms of what you discovered about her, I think I read that at TCA, Sheila Nevins cut off an interview after you brought up Errol Flynn and your mother's dating life. And
well, it's in the film. My mom had quite an active. My mom came to Hollywood. My mom came to Hollywood at 17 and for a 2-week visit to visit her mom, and dropped out of high school and stayed in Hollywood and ended up like dating Errol Flynn, and later on Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra. She's had Howard Hughes, like hot Howard Hughes, not crazy Howard Hughes in the hotel. You know, I've seen documentaries where people were interviewing their parents, and sometimes the parent would like shut them down. But my mom is willing to kind of talk about anything, and I'm sort of the more awkward one between the two of us. And there's things I'm like, Mom, I really don't need to hear about your dating life.
Yeah.
But, you know,
too late for that.
Yeah, too late for that. And it's always been that way between us. I mean, we've always had a very kind of open and honest relationship.
Did you get any closer to sort of embracing that more aristocratic root inside you? Because I think that, like...
Yeah, no. I mean, it really has no interest for me whatsoever. I mean, my dad came from a very poor family in Mississippi, and I feel much more connected to that. You know, the whole Vanderbilt thing, I mean, I find it a fascinating history, and, you know, it's cool to kind of read about it, but it has no bearing on like my life on a day-to-day basis. There's not some, you know, Vanderbilt trust out there, or so I never really wanted to pay attention to it because I just thought nothing good could really come of it. It didn't seem like a really positive thing.
And also, in many ways, and the film explores this, Gloria was sort of outside of that from the get-go too. Right. And you know, her life now doesn't bear any real relationship to it. I mean, her life is really, she paints and she goes up and down between her studio and her apartment, and so
her life is
very
completely different. Like, I think people would imagine this sort of, you know, lady who lunches and is going out to society events and stuff. And my mom hasn't done that, you know, if ever, at least in 50 or 60 years. So, you know, she paints all day long. All she cares about is creating art and
watching Judge Judy.
Yeah, she's discovered Judge Judy in her spare time. So yeah, she said to me the other day, she's like,
Judge Judy needs more viewers.
Well, she said to me, like, do you know of this Judge Judy? She's fascinating. I was like, really? Fascinating? And then she's also now discovered Dr. Phil. So that's her afternoon break.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's like they were so open, and we talked about everything, and the one thing that Gloria wouldn't do was let us film her watching Judge Judy.
Yeah,
that was her private time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know.
Are you looking forward to seeing yourself on SNL again? Portrayed on SNL again?
You know, I didn't love the portrayal this last time. I thought it was kind of weak. I thought, you know, Seth Meyers used to do me, which I thought was very funny, and it's an honor anytime to be mocked on Saturday Night Live.
Anything that you should pull out?
You know, I don't know. There's more to me than being gay, so I'd go for a little bit. You know, I don't know. I'd watch some video of me maybe, and you know, go for something a little. Go for something a little different. Yeah.
Anderson Cooper, Liz Garber, thank you so much. Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.